Morning and welcome to our second session of the TinkerShop 2.0 with new media artist Balam Soto. I'm Margaret Pastel, and I'm glad to welcome you back. Just a little bit of business. If you still need extra copper tape and haven't picked it up from the library, they will be available for cartside pickup until 6 o'clock today when the library closes. We hope everybody stays safe in this upcoming snowstorm, but we will still see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the last session of our workshop. Thank you. Balam?
Thank you very much. Good day, everybody. Today we are going to be working on 3 projects. So it's going to be number 5, which is in the left side of the template. Number 6, again, on the left side of the template. And number 7, in this case, the number is on the right side of the template. So let's go back to number 5. And for this, we will be using an RGB LED, which is the one that is an off-white color, and copper tape, of course, scissors, and your template.
How to have impossible conversations, you said?
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about this project and what it is about. In the previous workshops, we were working in just circuitry and have the basic idea of how the circuitry works. Now, in this case, we're gonna work something that is going to be more towards the interactivity of the circuitry and how modifications on what we've been working in the past or on the past workshops and adding new elements. Really
not seeing that we have a print copy.
Interaction or behavior of the circuit. And again, it's just about being creative. And so we will go ahead then. So the first step that we need to do is make sure that you have the number 5 and grab your scissors.
Adding it to the library collection.
So the first thing that we need to do is we are going to cut it in half.
And the
line
one
that is marked
is a viable option.
The template.
Right now could take about a few weeks to have the item.
So we ended up having something similar to this.
It's really just a question of.
And I'll give you a few seconds to finish that. Okay, so let's the one that it's named pull tab.
So we could get it through interlibrary loan, or
we would work paying attention to this area of the circuit. So in this case, we're going to begin by folding this corner to begin. So fold it close enough to the line.
So while you're on the line,
so
let me see.
It's something like this.
I want to see if we can get it through.
I am going to mark the dotted line.
At another library.
You guys can see a little bit better.
And if it's not, then I think
markings. So it's like that. Okay. So in the next step, we are going to take another element on the workshop, which is going to be modification of the supplies and how to save materials. The original tape, it's half an inch, and the nature of the circuit, it's a little bit smaller. So if we cut this in half, we can save a tape, but let's go ahead and work the way it is in another circuit. We're going to cut it in half. Okay, so let's begin. And again, like this. And I think at this point, I want to introduce a new modification to the circuit, which it's having a continuous piece of tape running through the whole circuit without
I am seeing it in
any cuts. So I'll show you that in a little bit. So the first thing we need to do is kind of like lay down the circuit.
So I
and
have to just I can just take I can request for you after. Yeah.
Sure,
So what's the name?
sure,
You would-
absolutely. So,
Okay.
um, 1 second while I find the circuit. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to wait for a little bit while things get running. But in the meantime, while that's happening, I want to explain you something about this new circuit we are going to be working on. So make sure that you have a number 5. And it's divided into the template by this line. So what we're going to do, the first thing, we are going to cut it in half. Through the line. So you will end up something like this. This we're gonna be using in a little bit, so let's put that aside. And we'll have our attention into this one that has the number 5. There is a dotted line, diagonal. I'm going to mark it, you don't have to, but it's going to be for demonstration purposes. So this line, it's for the folding. So fold it close enough to the folding line, you see in this case. So the second element to use, we were working with tape, and we are going to be working with tape in a whole different way. We are going to, rather than having to cut the tape, we were folding the corners, and we got about how to. So it'll be one complete path. In the previous project, we've been cutting it, but we're gonna take a new approach to it. So the whole idea is for you guys to see that things can be implemented in different ways. And for that, let's grab the tape and let's make an estimate of the dimensions that we need to do. So I will say probably if we have it like this, and then you fold away from the direction that we're going in this, I'm sorry, we're going to go in this direction. And so lay down the tape like this. And by eye, I'm making sure that this is close enough to the plus sign. And just by eye, I fold away from the direction that I am going to take. And then, once it is folded, go over it and fold to the direction that we are going to working with the circuits. So it's like this. Again, I'm gonna take another piece of tape to demonstrate. The direction that we're going to go, it's in this direction. So put the tape down, put your fingers close to the folding section, and just do a diagonal fold away from the direction that we are going, which is the direction, and then fold back like this. And that way, we have as one straight line of tape. So Now that we already have our mark, let's remove the back of it. And in this case, if we can match the edge of the tape to the edge of the circuit, like in this case, like this, that would be ideal. So let's go again. Let's put it down. And slowly, it's tape it down. So we enter the folding section. We fold like so. Make sure we can use our fingers to stick it to the paper. Remove some of the backing. And the next move is to fold the back and the folding markings that we previously did. We continue the process again, removing the backing as we need, until leave some backing until we arrive to this folding. And the next step is to pretty much continue the previous step. So to fold this, we are going in this direction. So let's fold this in the opposite, a little bit closer than the edge of the circuit, like this. So it's opposite to our direction. And then we fold back like this. And maybe let's leave from here to here about an inch. And cut. Again. So once you reach this area, remember to leave some backing. And then you fold against the direction that we're going, which is the direction we're going in this direction. And then you fold again like this. So you have one continuous circuit line. And once you have that step finished, slowly remove the backing. Use your fingers, tape it down. And then just follow the line. And so we have the first section of the circuit finished, which is from here to this corner. We do the folding again, continue. We repeat the folding in this corner, and we leave something like this. So we're gonna go, the next section, it's this section of the circuit. Same idea. Okay. I am going to place the tape. Sort of like make sure that this end of the tape, it's to the 50% of the circumference marked around that. And you lay it down without removing the backing. In this, we are going to go, the direction is towards the LED. So put it down. We have the first fold goes in the opposite direction of the path that we're taking. So we just fold it like this. So basically you have like a triangle, some sort of triangle, an angle in here. And then you come back and you fold again, make a mark with your fingers. And this is a tricky section. So, and then by eye, cut close to the mark edge. It doesn't have to be that precise. Remember, we have some room to use the LED pins. Like in this case, intentionally I made it short. So you guys can see it doesn't really have to be precise in the template in this specific area, because the LED pins, when we are going to open them, they have a lot of length, so it should be fine. So let's go back, and this time put the paper down. So by removing around an inch from the edge of the tape, start putting this down and continue. Take your time, and we continue on the process of adding. And when you get to the corner, slowly remove the backing so you have a visual orientation. Then remember, the first fold that we did goes in the opposite direction. So we fold like this. And the next section comes on top, and we end something like this. So we have the first path made, and then we have the second one, and we for the third one and last path, which is going to be basically the same technique, we need to have a gap for the LED. So let's keep that in mind. So again, tape, mark it down, put it down like this. The direction that we need, we are going in this direction. So put the tape down, and the first fold goes against or the opposite direction that we originally going to. So fold it out like this. So you will be facing the backing of the tape. Once you have that marked, and then you can fold over that section. So you have something like this, and using your fingers, keep it flat. And this is the tricky part. In this case, get close, kind of like in the middle of the marking of the lines, and fold. This is a little bit tricky since it's very close. So we need to fold in this direction towards the inside, like this. Sort of like we're gonna see like a U. And then we fold on top of that. And you can manipulate the tape so it can get the angles that you like. And then we will be making a cut of the tape like around here. So basically, if we remove the tape from the template, it looks something like this. Like Okay, at this point, we can easily lay it down and see that there will be a gap between the tapes, like you can see in here. And when we are ready, let's begin the process of removing the backing. In this case, let's go slow because it's a very short corners, very continuous corners. So it's all right if they don't match, like this line doesn't match this line, is absolutely fine. The LED is going to compensate that. So let's continue in the process, and this can be a little bit tricky. So if you just follow the marks that we've been working on, the tape actually works in our side, and it's helping us to continue the process. So we go like this, and again, work with the tape. Once you reach this corner, you fold it back again in the shape that we originally had it, with the backing still on it. And then whenever you think it's a good area to remove the backing, go ahead. There you go. And then we go over, we lay it down, and we have the two. Remember this area. There has to be a gap. It doesn't matter if it could be like around fraction of an inch, but they don't need to be touched. So if you have like a small gap, it's completely fine. Or like in this case, mine is showing here and wide in here, it's fine as well. So while you guys finish that, I'll prepare the LED. And again, the LED that we will be using, it's the one that is of white or milkish, and it has two legs, a short one and a long one. The long leg will go into the positive side of the template, which is this, and this side, it's the short leg, which is the negative side of the circuit. So let's open the LED pins and keep track. In my case, the long leg, it's on the right side of my hand, and the short leg, it's on this side. Okay. Let's, once you have it like this, let's put it in here. And let's grab two small pieces of tape. And let's cut two fractions from that of the tape, like around the sides. And we will continue by pretty much removing the backing of that, of one of those little sections of tape, and tape the LED pins to the circuit on top of the copper tape like this. We will be doing the same on the other side of the tape like this. And so it's something like this. Great. We will reuse in the batteries as well. And remember, the markings has a plus sign, which the plus sign in the circuit, if you have covered it, it's basically the one that is on the side of the tab. So to match the positive to this positive, the battery go like in this way. And let's put that away, to the side. Now we'll move to the other half of the template, which is says pull tab, and we have this shape. You don't have to mark it. We are going to be cutting between when we're cutting these lines of the template. So it's kind of like a big T shape. So grab your scissors and let's cut. Follow the straight lines, the continuous lines. You can actually cut the dashed lines if you want, the dashed lines. Yes. Okay. So you have a big T finished. Very good. All right. And you will see that in this T, there are 3 lines. Using some pieces of tape like this, let's cut it. So the first thing we're going to need to do is to put one in here, and by eye, let's cut a piece of tape, which is pretty much the width of the T. When that is done, when you have this, we're proceeding to cut it the long ways around the center of the tape. It doesn't have to be precise. So we will end up having 2 strips of the same length. So I'll give you a few seconds to finish that. And in the meantime, you see there are 1, 2, 3 strips. You can pretty much choose 2 of them where these strips will go. Like in my case, I want for them to be in here. If you have extra tape, of course, you can add another one in here, but let's leave that for later if you have extra. So, and as you guess, the next step is to tape the strips into the T. So go like this and like this. The idea of the dashed lines, it's a guideline where the main connections could be, like, for example, you left some in here and then you have some extra and just fold it in here. That's all right. And we will continue on the same for the other strip. So in this case, I'm just removing the backing all at once and taping it. And if you have some extra, you can just fold it to the other side of the paper. So you have something like this. And you circle it looks like this. The next step is from your bag, we're using one of those paper clips. Let's put the battery in place, making sure that the tape that we have will touch the 2 sides of the battery like this. And just put the paper clip to hold the tape on top of the battery and to keep the battery in place. So the next to test it is, let's grab the T-shape that we have, and let's fold this like this. And if I place one of the strips between the coppers, this LED should light up. There we go. So you can turn it on and off by moving the LED, the strip on top of it. So it's making a simple switch. So the same idea. A switch is like the ones that you have at home where you turn the lights on and off. And basically when you have your switch at home, when you flip the switch up, the circuit gets connected. And when you flip the switch down, the circuit it's disconnected. And so basically we are having that idea, making it with paper and 2 strips of tape. So this one will be on, moving it down to on again, on, off, and then gets on, again, on, off, on, and we'll continue until the next one, and then on again. So this is how the switch works, and you can actually do this too. The idea why we just we have this instead of just doing this, it's that you can modify this. You can put the paper closer to here, longer to here. So when you slice it, the LED will light up on and on. And how to make a switch that can be used, like for example, this can be put on a, if you make a circuit like this, you can, an idea it will be to make a greeting card. And having this, you can design it so it's part of the card. And when somebody pulls it down, it will turn the LED. And when it puts it back in, it will turn it off. So you can design an interactive greeting card using tape, LEDs, and paper. And it's pretty much up to you how you like to implement that card. But this is basically how would you make an interactive greeting card with the very basics elements and what we've been working on. Again, it's just using technology and creativity for this process. And that it's the circuit number 5. Okay. So let's continue with a similar idea, which number 6. Number 6, it's marked in the in this corner of the circuit. This is the name of the circuit. And again, it's divided by 2. And you're right. Let's cut it in half. Like this. This we put it aside. And we have something pretty similar to our previous circuit. But in this case, they are separated by straight lines. So like basically it's this concept to the size of the circuit. And we will go again for that. It's another way how to implement a switch. So let's begin by folding the dashed lines in the corner. Like this. And for this circuit, this is actually great moment to show you how, if, for example, we have different supplies, that the one that comes with the kit and the template requires thinner tape. How can we modify that? So in this case, we will be using the lines as a guidelines rather than following it. And the reason is because we need to have a gap again in here so that they won't cross each other over. So let's keep that in mind. So let's do the following. We are going to match one edge of the tape to the outer edge of the template, and I'm going to mark it so you can have a visual guidelines of where the tape is going to be put down. You don't have to mark this, but I'm just making this to make a clear demonstration of where the tape will be laying down. So it will be laid down on the outer side of the template. And the reason is because the tape that we have, it's wider than the lines in the template. And again, it doesn't have to be precise to the edge of it, but if we keep it, if we keep a gap here, that's all that needs to be done. Okay, so again, so let's put this in here. This is just for memory. This is going to be the positive side of the battery. So let's put it down. And we come to this corner. And remember, in this case, the tape will go in this direction, follow in that direction. So to make the fold, the first fold that we do, it's to go in the opposite direction, like this. Notice that I begin the folding on the outer side of the line of the template. And then I will fold towards the direction that I'm going. So I actually ended up further away from the line of the template, which is fine, absolutely fine. You see why it's fine. And then once you have it like this, what is left is just to do a cut, like this. So don't worry if the folding it is doesn't look perfect. All that matters is that if the circuit is going to work. So once you have it like this, and you have, so again, I'll give you a few seconds. You notice that my tape folding, it's a little bit far away from the edge of the template, it is absolutely fine. Okay. So let's put down the tape. Same idea. Like intentionally, I'm not adding it to the my original line, so you can see that the circle will still work. It's flexible. It has some flexibilities for changes, for improvisation, and then we continue. Remove the tape as you go. Sometimes doing these corners a little bit interesting, but it's doable. And again, I am putting it to the original plan. The idea is to show you that the flexibility of the project and the design element that allows some changes or modifications during the tape down. So you ended up having a line from here to here, the finishing here, and it's close enough to the marking lines. And again, I did this intentionally so you can see that it doesn't really have to be completely perfect, because the idea is just a suggestion line for the circuit to go down. Okay. So I leave a few seconds. And in the meantime, the next line that we will be working, it's from here to here and from here to here. And let's make sure that we'll have a gap again. You don't have to mark, I'm just making this as a reference point. And let's remember that the plus sign goes in this side and the negative side goes in this side, close to this, to the inner circle of the tab. So if we follow this tab, this line, it will lead us to the negative side of the LED. Okay, so let's continue. Again, grab the tape, lay it down, and let's make sure that we have a gap. The direction of the tape is in that direction, so the first fold, it's going in the opposite direction of the direction that we are going to. So we're going that direction, so my first fold of the tape, it's in the opposite. Once you have that, you can fold again on over, and then somewhere close to the edge, again, in this case, you don't have to worry about being that precise to the edge of the markings, because the LED has enough room to work. So I cut it shorter, so you'll have something like this. To make this, you have the tape, and I need to fold the tape in this direction. So my first fold, it's against or the opposite direction that I'm going to go, which is this direction. So the first fold, it's like this. The second fold, it's the one that goes in the direction that we want the tape to go. So it goes like this, then like this. So it's the first fold. If I want the tape to go in this direction, fold it like this, the opposite direction that my intention is. And then once I have that fold, I fold over it, and the tape will go in the direction that I want it to go. Okay. So let's go back to the tape. So once you have that finished, let's lay it down to have a visual of the lay down of the tape. It looks good to me. So let's lay it down. Like I'm leaving a little bit longer gap between the tapes. And as I go, make sure that the tape doesn't really get too close to the other tape. So like this, it's perfect. Continue laying it down. And then we reach the corner. And remember, the first fold, it's in the opposite direction. So by using my fingers, I just fold it down, remove a little backing, and then fold the tape like this. As you can see, I have a gap between the two tapes, and then I have another section that is folded towards the LED. Okay, let's do the last section of the circuit. Same idea. Lay it down, and before the direction of the tape, it's in this way, this direction. So fold down the tape, sort of like at the center of the circumference. Lay it down. And as you remember, if the tape will point in this direction, the first fold, it's the opposite. So I have to fold it in that direction, like this. So you can see the backing. I can see the backing going in the opposite direction. And then when I have this fold, I go back and fold on top of that, make the marks. And by eye, I see that I need to cut around here. So I'm going to use my fingers. There's another technique that you can use and just cut. It's quite simple, effective. And let's make sure that our folding tape it's close enough to what it needs to be. Once we see it is close enough, we will then continue by removing the backing. We match the edge to the close to the center of the circumference. We continue the unfolding, and again, this technique allows some improvisation. So don't worry if it is not as precise as the original idea that you had in mind. And then continue with the process again. And take your time when you like. I noticed that when I'm going to lay out, it's going to be a little bit close. So if you have something like this, you can just use the scissors and cut flush into the paper like this. I love the flexibility of this tape. So you have something similar to this. Okay, so for this case, let's choose an RGB LED, which is again one of these. If for some reason you are out or that's all right, you can use any other LED as long as in LED, or you can just go back to the first project and remove the LED, the RGB LED, and place it into this. So again, let's follow the marks. The long leg will go up in the side of the circuit, and the short leg in this side. So I'm going to make these marks in the copper tape, see if they stay. Again, the LED, the two pins, one long and one short. The long, it's the positive. So I'm going to keep the long one to my right hand and the short one to my left. And gently and slowly fold the pins like this. And as I mentioned, this is the long one, which is the right. So go like this. And yep, the next step is to cut two small pieces of tape around that side. Could be longer, it could be shorter. All right, and let's continue. Let's remove the backing tape, the LED, like that. And then we do the other section like this. And we basically have the same technique through all the circuits, which is adding components through the copper tape using copper tape. So that's basically what we're doing now here. So let's move this to the side. And let's pay attention to this section of the template. And you can see that it has two cuts that we need to do. Let's begin with this one. So what I'm going to do, I am going to cut the two sections at once. And then in this line, the one that is close to these lines, that's the one to be cut. And then the other cut mark, which is the adjacent line to the original cut. So you'll have two pieces of paper like this. Now comes the tricky part, which is to remove the inner section of this. So the easiest way to do it, if you fold it in half, like this. And then from this, using the scissors, you cut around the inner lines. And it doesn't have to be precisely. So you ended up something like this. Okay. So the next step is to work this one. Let's put this aside. And this is very precise. So let's, if you have access to, if you have a marker, pencil, or any marking tool, let's put it down in the backing area of the tape. Let's make a mark, matching this line to this line. The edge of the tape matches this edge to this edge of the tape. So it's basically one cut matching one of the gray lines. We do the cut. So you have something like this. And then towards the longer side of the cut that we did, we just do again, we cut it in half, or about half. So we ended up having some pieces of tape like this. Let's do two. You can add another one if you like, but because of the same materials, we working with two. So let's, next step, it's to add tape to that template. So remove the backing and let's place it on, like, I'm gonna place one in one edge and the other one in the center, which is this one, the center line. Like this. So the next step is to add the first cut that we made on top of the tape, and make sure that you have some of it that is exposed, that the tape see through. If you for some reason this is a little bit too you don't see much of the tape inside in here, it's no problem. We can just modify it again. Let's just cut a little bit more from the center, tiny bit, not much. The idea of this project is to be flexible and allow modifications. So what I did, I just increased the rectangle, the inner rectangle. So when I lay it down, I can clearly see that I have access to two of the areas of the tape. And that should allow me to for the circuit to work. All right, so let's leave that in there, or let's just put it to the side for now. Let's use a battery. The negative side will go in this. The positive side will go facing you. We do the fold and like this. Using the paper clip again. To keep the battery in place and to make sure there is a connection to the circuit, like this. And if we lay this down in this way, and then we add the copper tape, the copper template like this on top of it. When I push down, it lights up. When I remove my finger, it turns off. Again, on, off, on, off, on. At this point, you can, once you know the works, you can tape it up and you will have an interactive on and off switch. The same idea as the previous one, but this one is by pressure. And again, you can use this idea to make any kind of projects, from greeting cards to light up houses, to anything that you want. And the simplicity of the circuit is, it's simple.
Thank you, Balam.
You're welcome.
So this ends our second session of our 3-day workshop. Balam will be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock. And I understand some of my announcements didn't work this morning. So if you have not yet picked up your extra copper tape, they're here for cart side pickup until 6 o'clock tonight. And we'll tune in tomorrow and finish these wonderful projects. Thank you, Balam. And we look forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.